Is in behind him as well. Who is, of course, Jamie Caroline's team, one of the 4 Carlin cars. Here's Billy Monger having a look through past his Jamie Sharp, goes through on the inside line, so up into 13th place.
You can see they're all scrabbling around for grip. Oh, it's on! Oh, that's horrendous. That's absolutely enormous. He just couldn't see him. Pasma's obviously either broken down or something. Oh, that's awful. Awful accident.
Nasty accident.
Oh.
Checkered flag is waved. Lundqvist is victorious. Second, Nikolai Kjærgaard, and what a return to racing for Billy Monger. Third, first time out in F3. Absolutely fantastic.
He lost both legs in a horrific crash last year in British F4. Since then, though, his recovery has been amazing, with the full support of the motorsport community behind him. This weekend,
from 9th alongside Guillaume Samaya. Billy Monger is 11th alongside Jack Doohan. Jack unfortunately crashed out towards the end of yesterday's race as well. Can be even trickier today for these drivers to get away. And I can see Julian Hanses, our pole sitter on the right-hand side of your screen, already angling his car towards the right. And Billy Monger, I believe, that is heading into the pits. And so is Nikolai Kjærgaard. And from the back of the grid, Aldo Fastante. So I think 3 drivers looks to me like they're going to be taking the gamble of starting on wet weather tyres.
Yep, and Billy Monger was one of the ones who made the same gamble yesterday.
We've got the green flag waving at the back of the grid, so as those drivers head into the pits, the other 12 drivers are all set to start the race, and let's go, and Julian Hanses gets away fairly well. Yuki Tsunoda is away cleanly too. How are they going to be as they come through turn 1? Tsunoda's slotted into 2nd place. He's already got Liam Lawson on the back of him, and Lawson is trying to go around the outside at Gar. Is that going to work or not? They're going to accelerate now up towards the left-hander at Oscar. And I think that Liam Lawson, I'm not sure if he has been able to get in. No, he's down into 3rd position, so he wasn't able to get ahead of Yuki Tsunoda. Into the left at Oscar. Yellow flags wave here because it's so narrow and tight.
We've already got a car in the barriers. That's
at Foch, and that's Rui Andrade. He started from the pit lane on cold, slick tyres and straight into the barrier. The course car immediately on the scene. Let's see how quickly we're able to rescue him. But Julian Hanses still leading with Yuki Tsunoda and Liam Lawson close behind him. Now let's see what the drivers who switched to wet weather tyres have been able to do. They're pretty much matching the drivers on slick tyres for lap time at the end of the lap. And in the middle of the lap, where the circuit is a bit tricky, we're actually very, very slightly quicker. So the question now is going to be, is this rain going to continue to build, or are the conditions going to swing in favour of the drivers on slicks? And a really, really big twitch there from Liam Lawson. The safety car has been deployed to recover that car, and that is going to really throw a double six, because some of the drivers who are out on the wet weather tyres are setting fastest sector times. Billy Monger was fastest in the 1st sector by about 0.8 of a second, and Nikolai Kjærgaard was flying through sectors 2 and 3. So those drivers who gambled to put the wet weather tyres on seem for the time being to have made the correct decision. But is that still going to be the case once the safety car comes in? So here is the safety car out on the track. It pulls away from the start-finish line. Julian Hanses slows down as he approaches the car ahead of him. This is going to bunch the field up. It's going to completely neuter the disadvantage that those drivers who pitted early had, bring them back onto the tail of the pack, and then we'll see if they're still quicker than the cars ahead of them. Start to me for Julian Hanses. He leads. The safety car turns in. Yuki Tsunoda in 2nd place. Liam Lawson in 3rd position. Marino Sato, 4 out of 4 Motorpark cars in the top 4. And running slightly wide at the exit of Gar is Yuki Tsunoda. And that will allow Liam Lawson to get a little bit closer and apply a bit more pressure to his teammate. And I wonder how the cars further back on the wet weather tyres are doing, but it is super close between those 2 Red Bull Junior drivers. We've already seen them come to blows on the circuit once already this year, and they twitch their way out of Oscar into the right-hander at Lycée and back up the hill towards Park Beaumont. And Billy Monger, despite having taken the restart on the wet weather tyres, has moved his way up into 10th position. So he, I believe, is the leader among the drivers who've switched the wet weather tyres, and he is right on the tail of Guillaume Samaya in what is really quite a close train. No, Billy Monger has in fact made up a position. I was going to say he was under pressure from the driver behind him. That's because he's just overtaken him. So Billy Monger has made his way past Guillaume Samaya and is now into 9th position. Monger setting his personal best sector time for the middle lap, and having done that, he is immediately quickest of all in the first sector, 0.4 of a second quicker than our race leaders. And was he making another move there on Linus Lundqvist in the background for 8th position? Billy Monger clearly liking the feel of those wet weather tyres underneath him. Meanwhile, keeping an eye on the progress of Billy Monger, he's made up another place. Billy Monger, unseen by us, up into 7th now, ahead of Tepe Notori. So there's still plenty of life in his wet weather tyres, and he's now climbing all over the tail of Christian Hahn, who is in 6th position. Now, I'm very interested to see what Billy Monger may be able to do in terms of making an overtaking move, and indeed where he's getting all these passes done, because it's awfully difficult to pass around Pau, even if you're on a wet track with wet tyres and everybody else is on slicks. And Monger clearly vastly quicker than Christian Hahn. They come around the right-hander at Buisson. Oh, and nearly running into the back of his rival there. They make their way down. They dodge left and right, they come into the chicane now, and now they're into one of the longer acceleration zones. So this may well be where Monger is able to draw ahead of the rival ahead of him. Once they come out onto the straighter section of the track, this is potentially a move then for 6th position as they come past the pits. Munger takes a look to the inside at turn 1. Hahn leaves him just about enough room. They break for the right-hander at Gar, and Munger, sure enough, is down the inside and into 6th position. That gamble at the end of the formation lap to switch to wet weather tyres is certainly paying off for him very nicely indeed.
And they're side by side going up through to turn 3, so they may see them in our pit soon.
Oh, and there he is. Munger has passed Das, and he's up into 5th position. He is ripping his way through the field. Let's get a replay. This is them as they came into Gar. Das ran a little bit wide. Not able to do anything about Billy Monger getting down the inside. Our timing screens again as Han heads for the pits.
Yeah, Billy Munger's already way past Marino Sato by about 2 seconds just in one sector alone, and I wouldn't be surprised if other drivers follow Hahn into the pits right now, because the circuit is looking wetter by the lap. And then we're seeing a shot of Munger going through turn 3 now. He is quite a distance behind our top 3 cars, but he is significantly faster. He set another purple sector in the first sector, 26.9 seconds. That's 2 seconds faster than the motorbike drivers ahead of him.
Yeah, that gap to the leaders is coming down all the time. It's now less than 10 seconds, and it's not going to last very long at all, because he's just taken 1.3 seconds out of them in the first sector of this lap. So there is Billy Monger. That gamble for wet weather tyres at the end of the formation lap is now looking utterly inspired. Yuki Tsunoda absolutely...
Compared to the other drivers, he's able to go on the wetter patches. And we can't really see the 2 cars through the mist of rain now, but he's right on the rear of Tsunoda crossing the line. And up front, there's less than a second in it. Munger's looking at turn 2.
Oh, and Tsunoda thought about turning in, and he didn't quite have the grip to do it, I don't think. But as they accelerate out the corner, surely Munger is going to have the grip to get the pass done. I'm not sure the marshal was quite right in waving the blue flag there in the background. Tsunoda isn't a back marker, although the speed difference might make you think that he is. He is trying his very, very best to... Well, now, this is interesting because he has been queued up behind Tsunoda for nearly a full lap now, and he nearly runs into the back of him and almost falls his way over the motor park driver as he goes down the inside of the chicane. Munger moves up into 3rd position. The race lead, he can give it a go. They're approaching the chicane where he made that stunning pass on Tsunoda, and he is having a try. He launches down the inside, the teammates collide. The 2 motor park drivers off, and that was Billy Munger going past them into the lead of the Pau Grand Prix. And I'm sorry to say that Julian...
And our timing screens actually incorrectly told us as someone had crashed at turn 3. That was Billy Munger, car number 31, they were reporting there. So slightly unusual graphic there.
So, Billy Munger, our race leader, he came into the pits at the end of the formation lap to put wet weather tyres on, and what an inspired decision that is. However, he's got another challenge coming his way because the safety car has been deployed to keep it polite. The race is underway once again, and Billy Munger holds the lead ahead of Nikolai Kiergaard. Green flags wave, and we've got, trying to make a move in the background, Linus Lundqvist taking a look at the inside of Aldo Festante, and chip chances yesterday.
Yeah, and he won't want to be repeating Lawson's mistake from earlier, crashing into his teammate. And looking at Das is losing more time now. Look like Munger and Kiergaard are running at basically the same pace every single lap, so they miss.
Yuki Tsunoda behind them has got a fresher set of wet weather tyres, and is he going to be able to use them to do anything as they come past the pits with 15 seconds left to run?
And there's 1.3 seconds between the top two now. So that's the biggest gap Munger's had for a long time, and it is the final lap. And
Seeing that as he accelerates out through the chicane where the two motor park drivers crashed, it has been a stunning performance from Billy Monger. He sees the checkered flag. He wins the 78th running of the Pau Grand Prix. What an outstanding drive by Billy Monger, the young man who was so cruelly injured in that terrible crash at Donington Park a couple of years ago, racing a Formula 3 car specially adapted with hand controls to suit him. And that is one of the most outstanding races I have seen for a long, long time. Lead off him. Jack Doohan went out early on in proceedings, and so did Rui Andrade. Rounds of applause for Nikolai Kier for a few words as soon as possible. And there he is, embracing his mother down in the paddock. We're going to get to hear from our race winner in just a few moments' time.
Billy Monger, well done. What a fantastic race.
I can't believe it. I mean, after qualifying 11th, and we had so much more potential than that, I thought that was going to be our race. I thought we were going to be stuck in the mid-pack, but it was, we had the green flag lap, and I just knew it was too wet. And where I was starting, I just made the gamble for wet, on the green flag, safety before the start of the race. And then from that point on, just tried to pick them off one by one. But I got to thank the team, I got to thank Carlin. I mean, I didn't ever believe that this would, 2 years ago, that this would be the case, that I'd be winning races. And I'm just over the moon.
Do you realize that your name is in the Roll of Honor of the Pau Grand Prix together with Ascari, Nuvolari, Jim Clark, Jackie Stewart, Lewis Hamilton?
Yeah, I can't believe it. I couldn't. I was dead last after the first lap when I pitted. I think there was 2 guys behind me that pitted as well. Me and my engineer, we were fighting with each other over the radio on the green flag lap. I was telling him it's wet, and he was telling me no, we should stay slicks. And eventually I just came in, and it was the right call. So yeah, I don't know what to say.